Listen to this narration and answer the questions that follows.
The life of Pablo Escobar is a rags to riches story with a criminal bent. Born on December 1st, 1949, Escobar rose from humble beginnings in Colombia to become one of the most successful drug traffickers in the world. According to one Escobar biography, he had an estimated net worth of $30 billion and was named one of the 10 richest people on earth by Forbes. How did this son of a farmer and a schoolteacher wind up one of the richest men on the planet? That's what we'll find out. In this episode of the Infographic Show, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. How did he become the king of cocaine? Escobar's ambition played a major role in his rise to power as the king of cocaine. It seemed to dominate his personality, and he is even quoted as saying, "I want to be big." As a young man, he aspired to be the president of Colombia. He tried to channel his ambition into studying political science at La Universidad de Antioquia, but he ended up dropping out of school when he ran out of money to pay for his studies. Some people think this was a pivotal moment in his life. According to one news report, his criminal career is said to have begun in earnest after lack of money forced him to leave his university. He may have started out as a small-time criminal who stole cars and supposedly even tombstones, but he did not stay that way for long. He eventually moved on to smuggling cigarettes and marijuana. During this time, his ambition to move up in the criminal world brought out another trait that would help him become the king of cocaine: ruthlessness. More money rolled in when he added kidnapping and killing to his list of crimes. But he wanted something more. In the 1970s, Escobar saw an opportunity to gain more power and wealth in the underground cocaine market. The demand for cocaine in the United States was growing, and smuggling cocaine was still a fledgling enterprise in Colombia. After working for other drug traffickers for a while, Escobar made a big move to take over this illegal but profitable industry. In 1975, he allegedly ordered the murder of a Medellin cocaine trafficker named Fabio Restrepo and seized control of Restrepo's drug trafficking operation. Escobar was not alone, however. He joined forces with a motley crew of individuals from diverse backgrounds. Among them were a pig farmer turned professional killer named Jose Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha and a marijuana trafficker named Carlos Letter. There were also 3 brothers from a ranching family named Jorge, Juan David, and Fabio Ochoa. Together they formed the infamous Medellin cartel. Under Escobar's leadership, the Medellin cartel expanded Restrepo's operation and made it bigger and better. They developed more efficient ways to ship large amounts of cocaine to the United States. Instead of using suitcases and human mules on commercial airplanes to smuggle cocaine, they used their own planes, including small planes that could fly below radar and large planes like DC-3s and DC-6s for large loads. According to one source, they also pulled off unexpected stunts like parachuting cocaine to speedboats in international waters. In addition, they devised clever ways to smuggle cocaine into the US within legitimate shipments, such as blending it into products like Ecuadorian cocoa, Chilean wine, and blue jeans. The cocaine would then be chemically extracted from these products once they arrived in the United States. Escobar even transported cocaine by submarine. One source states that he managed to obtain 2 remote-controlled miniature submarines from the Russian Navy, each capable of carrying 1 ton. That is about 4,409 pounds of cocaine, which is slightly less than the weight of an average US car built in 2003. Escobar and the rest of the Medellin cartel were rewarded for their ingenuity with huge profits in the 1980s. One source notes that at the peak of his career, he illegally transported about 15 tons of cocaine daily, earning a profit of $420 million a week. There are many stories related to his great wealth. He supposedly bought a Learjet for the sole purpose of moving his money around. He and his family lived in a lavish mansion with swimming pools, artificial lakes, gardens, and a private zoo. He also had a soccer arena and a bull ring built for his entertainment, and it took 700 workers to run the place. Escobar also used his money to try to win over the common people. He spent some of his wealth on community projects, such as building churches, sports facilities, and housing for the poor. He even constructed a whole neighborhood called Barrio Pablo Escobar that still exists today. Some of the benefactors of his generosity revere him as a hero to this day, but one report speculates that Escobar reached out to the community because he knew that he would be safer if the common people of Medellin loved him. While these outward acts of charity and kindness improved his public image, they did not improve his personal conduct. He continued to resort to violence and ruthlessness to expand his power as the king of cocaine. he dealt with his enemies and other potentially problematic people with his infamous plato o plomo, silver or lead policy. If anyone got in the way of what he wanted to do, he would first try to bribe them with money. If the person did not accept the bribe, then he would have that person killed. The death toll resulting from plato o plomo was high. One report states that Escobar was responsible for the murders of at least 40 judges, 200 court officials, 1,000 policemen, and 3,500 civilians, and that some estimates put the total as high as 60,000. As the king of cocaine, Escobar thought he could stay above the law, and for a while, he did. Plato o plomo kept him out of jail for a long time because there were a lot of corrupt judges willing to take his bribes. And when he did have to go to jail as part of an agreement with the Colombian government not to be extradited to the US on drug charges, the prison and the sentence were a farce. After his arrest in 1991, he served out his sentence in a luxurious prison of his own making called La Catedral, where he could still run his drug trafficking operation as he did before. What brought about Escobar's downfall was that he could not stop testing the limits of his power. While he was in prison, he had 2 associates of his own cartel tortured and killed at La Catedral in 1992, and this blatant disregard for the law caused the Colombian government and public opinion to turn against him. The Colombian government planned to transfer him to a regular prison, and Escobar fled once he found out. Soon, the local police, a special squad of US-trained Colombian soldiers called the Search Block, and a shadowy collective of Escobar's enemies known as Los Pepes were looking for him. Escobar managed to evade capture for 16 months until the Search Block was finally able to pinpoint his location from a traced phone call. He was in a Medellin neighborhood when the authorities finally caught up with him in December 1993. It is widely reported that he died in a shootout with the police, but many people, including his own son and brother, believe that Escobar committed suicide. One possible reason why he would have killed himself is that he did not want to be extradited. To him, extradition was a fate worse than death. One of his mottos was, "Better a tomb in Colombia than a prison cell in the United States."